Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. I'm super honored, you guys, as a Doctor of Divinity, as the founder of Spiritual Psychology School and Soul Society Community. I love this work so much. So we come together each week to, of course, know the week's universal law, have a quote of the week, have a spiritual practice to take into our lives, get our mind right, and also take a look at a case study of coaching and how to transform the subconscious mind. So this week's universal law is the law of correlation. So the law of correlation reminds me a lot of the book, The Game of Life, by Florence Scovel Shinn. This is one of the most profound books in our industry, which is the New Thought movement. We read a lot of books in the Spiritual Practitioner program, and this is one of the great ones. So Florence, one of the great quotes that she has is, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy." So I just had on the podcast a dear friend of mine, Erin Jones, who will come out, the interview will come out, I believe, later this week. And one of the things is we understand, and he talks about a lot in his book and in really his life story of resilience, is change your mindset and change your life. Everything begins within, so without, as we all teach in this movement. So this universal law distinction this week is for the one law. There's only one law. It's the cause and effect of how spirit is creating through our individualized soul, the frequency, vibration, and energy of our lives, returning exponentially in the mirror of life in the boomerang effect. So this universal law states all of life is a relationship, a mutual exchange of energy with a perfect reflection. This law is the boomerang effect of the mental universe, because everything's frequency, vibration, energy, and it all goes into pixels when we witness, and as the power of our consciousness creates it into particles, and as we witness it, we create into pixels, and into the pixels becomes mental pictures. So we live in a mental universe. So this law is the boomerang effect of the mental universe. This interdependent, unified kinship is dynamic and instantaneous in its exchange. There is always a mental equivalent and a divine reverberation that echoes through the cosmos. So the question is, are you not having the things that you desire come to you? There's only one reason, and it is because you're not giving it. We talk about this over and over again on the podcast. It's a counterintuitive process of giving that which you seek. So you can't get love and then become loving. You can't get money and then become prosperous, right? We have to give that which we seek. If we want more energy, we can't wait for the energy to come. We've got to give the effort, give the energy to have more energy. This is the law of the correlation of life. So one of the secrets to implementing this distinction of the law is giving, 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 and serving, serving, serving. We can't ever actually keep anything unless we give it away. So this week's journal and action, and you can actually get your free journal worksheets below here in the free manifesting challenge. You can get all the universal law lessons and the worksheets. And this week's journal and action is to take some time to journal and reflect upon how it's showing up in your life. So what is being reflected in your life? The good things, the bad things, everything, to reflect on that. Using your mind, realizing that it's all perception, it's all belief. Really taking inventory and taking 100% responsibility, right? And so that brings me to the spiritual principle this week, which is you are a creator, right? You are a creator. So the spiritual practice this week is to stop reacting and begin to ask yourself, what do I want to create, right? So that brings me to the case study of this week, which was a subconscious session we held in one of the calls, and it was regarding a woman who was upset with her daughter. And oftentimes our upsets are really always about what's really happening within us. So as we began to get deeper and deeper into what she was really upset about, it actually didn't have anything to do with her daughter. It didn't have to do with the fact that her daughter was disrespecting her. It didn't have to do with the fact that her daughter was showing up really late to things. It was actually about her upsetness with herself, that she wasn't being the person that she wanted to be. And all of life will test us. Whatever it is that's going to push you, trigger you, have you be reactive, is all the universe developing you to become your highest self, right? The greatest example showed us how we can be crucified and still love unconditionally, right? The Buddhist consciousness, the Christ consciousness, all the highest of highest consciousness has taught us how in the stillness there is divine. In the stillness there is God's source. And in that presence, there is a power that can be called upon through the law of supply and demand, through doing deep, deep breath work, through profound prayer. There is an inspired action. With every prayer, there is an inspired action. So we can be in the God presence, but really it's the God power that comes forward for us to act in accordance with who we truly desire to be. So this client went from being upset with her daughter to realizing she was really actually birthing her truth, which was to be an unconditionally loving mother, but also be able to place boundaries for her to take responsibility around her own emotions. We get upset with other people, not always because what they did, but rather because it takes us out of our truth, out of our integrity, out of who we truly desire to be. So if you're somebody out there and you're still getting triggered and reacting and not being the friend or the mother or the daughter or, the girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, whatever that is, it's not about what happens to you. It's what happens within you and what you decide to be in your life. We develop profound spiritual entrepreneurs, leaders, coaches, practitioners, Doctor of Divinity. We know that we're the answer. Look at what's happening in the politics. Look at what's happening in the financial situations out there, that it's time to no longer look to the world. No one's going to save you. No one's going to fix everything, that you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. So let's go on this journey of holding ourselves in truth this week. Again, you can get below, you can grab the coach session planner. I highly, highly recommend getting that. Knowing that you are your own first client, that you need to know how to coach yourself, hold yourself in truth, birth your core values, be able to transform your trauma, be able to reprogram your subconscious mind. We are always our first client. So you can grab that coach session planner. You can also grab the free manifesting challenge below to get all the 52 universal law lessons and the worksheets and have community to support you in this. And in this, let's just do a spiritual mind treatment, taking a deep breath in. And just recognize this week is another divine week, a unit of time to be developed in mastering our consciousness. That all of life is created from consciousness, that is spirit, true source, the zero field, and that creates the frequency, vibration, and energetics of your entire universe. You are the center of your unique universe as the fractal of the one divine universe, the multi-universe, and beyond, recognizing there's no time or space, that it is everything begins in consciousness. And in this, to be with the wisdom of the universe, to be with the highest self, to be with all forces that be, to invoke the highest field of energetics, because there's only one place for that, and it is spirit. It is source, and source is within. We take back our power. We claim our birthright of prosperity, vitality, and love right here, right now. We declare this to be the most powerful, profound week ever because we say so. And in this, I know my word is power. It is done as together we say. And so it is. And so it is. Okay, you guys. So remember that this week's distinction of universal law is the law of correlation. It is done onto you, right? It goes back and it reflects back exponentially like a boomerang. This week's spiritual principle is that you are a creator. And this week's spiritual practice is to stop reacting and begin creating. Asking yourself, what do I want to create out of the situation? Accepting people, places, and things exactly as they are, and beginning to ask yourself, who do I want to be in the midst of all this, right? And the quote of the week is by Florence Scovel Shinn, which is, the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. Yes, you guys can also grab the Universal Law book as well, or my book Awakening, you can see, is also there as well, along with all the 40 free guided meditations that come with it. So if you would like to come on the podcast or ask a question on the podcast, all you have to do is give a review, and you can put your question in the review as well. We love 5-star reviews. Very important. If you've been getting value out of this podcast, please give a review. Do that as exchange of energy. I really appreciate it. You guys have a beautiful, blessed day again, and may you live your truth. Thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Erin Show. If you're ready to transform your life, discover your soul's purpose, and manifest your dreams, go to drerin.tv. Join me in my life-changing events, membership, or certification. If you're ready to become a certified coach and get trained in metaphysics of mind, manifestation, and the creative process, subconscious reprogramming, trauma recovery healing, spiritual psychology, universal law, and much more, go to drerin.tv. If you're receiving value from the show, I would love it if you would share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.